I've got a E25 platoon match for you here on Swamps. It's a very fun little tank to play, and carries surprisingly hard for its size. Playing with Ren 0 and SRB. See, there's a little bit of indecision about where to go at the start of the match, but we decide to head south. Form a gun line facing the bridge and just whittle down whatever comes across. A good part of our team is going north, so we should be okay. The split doesn't look too bad. They find a Stewart and rapidly melt it. Here I make a mistake. The Type 58 was spotted in the middle. He was going straight towards our FV304 and there was nothing else spotted here, so I figured, oh, I'll just pop around the corner and shoot him. Unfortunately, A, I didn't have good enough shots because the terrain was blocking me, as you can see here. And B, there was actually other stuff across the valley and across to my right, so I took 2 hits I really did not need to take. So that's a third of my health gone already. That's not very good play. Thankfully, it was not enough to cost us the game. So Type 58 barrels in on the FV304, who's too stupid to actually run away, or even try for a shotgun, either of which probably would have worked. Ring 0 takes care of the Type 58 for me, while he's behind the rock to me. And then I just dive into the middle of the swamp here and find myself some cover so I can think about my preceding plan of action. So I find a nice bush and I decide to roll up and stop in there and just see what I can see. I'm worried about that tiger off to my left, but he's not pushing me yet, so I'm just going to try and keep an eye on the map. I'd like to get shots into the KV-1S and Indian Panzer, but there's too many rocks between me and them at the moment. And then I see this guy, he's heading over to join them. My platoon mates have quick shots at him as he crosses to the rock, and I decide to head out to the left a bit so I can angle my shots in behind them. Take a quick snapshot of the KV-1S, which hits him right in the back. I wait for them to get relit. Confident they didn't see me, since I'd be dead by now if they had. I've got no shots on those two, so I move further up to the northeast. And here we go. Here's the KV-1S, completely oblivious. So I managed to track him, cloak up with my camera net. Unfortunately, he does see me. I do some quick math and figure out that I can in fact DPM him to death before he gets a second shot off. It's a risky move, but nobody else was actually aiming at me, so I got away with it, but it does only leave me with 123 health, leaving me one-shottable for any tank on the team. It seemed like a good gamble at the time, but our team is rapidly losing control of the map. Our JT-88 has not left base since the start of the game. He simply rolled onto the ridgeline at J3 and stopped and has not moved since. He has no render on enemy tanks, he has no shots at enemy tanks, he's just sitting there doing nothing. Not putting out damage, not taking hits, useless. He may as well be a bot. So my platoon moves across the river. SRB joins me. Ren stays up on the hilltop for a moment, and we find the Indian Panzer. Our 100Y gets a hit into him, but takes one in return. Then SRB and I dive on the Indian. We think he's looking the other way. Unfortunately, he's not. He noticed us. He goes for SRB first, which is a good thing for me. Critical mistake on his part. He could have just removed my gun from the game. Instead, he allows me to survive, and so I can go on to put out more damage. Now, Dicamax is to the north in B8, but it's not looking this way. It's firing across to the west for now. So as long as we're quick enough, we should be able to clean these guys up before it starts looking our way. Our Rheinmetall drowns himself trying to cross the river somewhere stupid. SRB gets a lot of his health knocked off by the Indian and rushed. Unfortunately, I get some unlucky bounces, which just prevent me from rescuing him. The Indian's turning to shoot me next when our Artie manages to take it, and credit to this Artie player, he was really carrying his weight this match. If it wasn't for him, this wouldn't have been possible. So I noticed the JT hasn't left base at this point and start bitching him out. Meanwhile, I head up to the north. I'm going to try and find a bush here to spot towards their tanks in the A line from. I stop to type like a puppy. Yeah, here comes a good excuse. The JT-88's excuse for not leaving base all game is that... wait for it. By the time I get there, the fight is over. I am made to defend. Oddly enough, the enemy JT-88 was last seen in A5, murdering the shit out of our team. The JT-88 is not that slow. It is not made to defend. It's made to assault. It defends well, but it can assault well, especially when it's top tier. With that armor, he could have easily pushed into the enemy team and just murdered all of them. The fact is, it's not the tank, it's the player. He is a terrible player who doesn't know what he's doing with this tank and thinks that because he's a TD he needs to sit in the back and snipe. Not true. All three of our platoon are TDs, and look at what we're doing. This is hardly sitting in the back sniping. We're all over the map. Granted, we're faster, but just because you're in a tank destroyer does not mean you need to be a static pillbox. If that was the case, Wargaming would surely introduce a static pillbox class. Just try and get this running a bit more smoothly here. And here I fuck up. The Roomba has a really good chance to kill me, but he fucks up even harder than I did, and now I know I reload far before he does, so I can rush in and just murder him. The DPM on this thing is spectacular. It's more like a machine gun than a cannon. So you can see I've been able to do all this because those enemy tanks didn't put the final killing shot into me. Again, I've said this before, this is the importance of killing tanks. Even if they've got one hit point, if they still have a functioning gun, they can still put out huge amounts of damage. They may even carry their team, and you'll lose because you failed to fire one time at a critically damaged tank. There's no such thing as kill stealing. If you have a shot at a critically damaged tank, take it. Doesn't matter if somebody bitches you out for stealing their kill, just make it dead. Remove guns from the game, that's all it's about. So, Ren heads to the west, try and get some shots on the enemy JT-88. Ours has finally dragged his sorry ass to the north, back into our original spawn, to try and halt those guys, stop them from killing our Artie. I'm sort of looking for shots in the Dicker, but it's not happening. SU-100's very cautiously moving up to the Dicker Max, trying to get the drop on him. So we find a KV-1S, it looks stock. In fact, it is stock. So he's not paying attention to me. I've got a couple sneaky shots in. That was either an AP or heat shell, I think. If that was HE from either of those Artie, it should have splashed me to death. So I dragged back onto our side of the river. You can see our drowned Rheinmetall there. Fucking genius. Anyway, I drive onto our side of the map with the intention of driving all the way through south, and then I realise, wait, no, the Dicker Max probably is actually looking south. So I may as well just cross the river back here again and head in from the north. I reverse up trying to get shots in the Lorraine here, but it's not happening and Ren has them anyway. So I start my way back across. Also I noticed the SU-100Y was set to pincer that guy, so I figured, well, if we push in from the north, right, we've got a better chance. JT-88 finally starts pushing as well. And SU-100Y, I just take out the Dicker Max. Sounded like there was an Artie shell went out as well, just in case. Now it's just the What is that? FV207? Let me check. Yeah, FV207. That's all that's left. So we try and enter the base a bit spread apart, so one splash won't kill us both. The 100Y is still coming in from the south, and we still have our RD pre-aimed here. It makes a very poor shotgun attempt on Ren, and then he just gets torn apart. And the JT88 has the absolute gall to say, there, we won, good game. Yeah, we won because my platoon carried. He did very little. Very, very little. But, you know, bad players have zero self-awareness, so what can you do? Good match for showing the strengths of the E25. It has excellent camo, it's got mobility, more suited to a light tank, and its DPM, oh, its DPM is just insane. A platoon of 3 of these will just melt a tank so quickly, they don't even know what's going on. It also gets preferential matchmaking, so it will never see tier 9s, because it only has the KWK42, so it's only about 150 AP pen. It's great. I mean, this thing will shred tier 8s all day long. I've seen people deliberately platoon them into tier 9 matches and they still carry tier 9 matches, even though they're not even supposed to see them. In fact, I've seen one in the tier 10 match, which did more damage than most of its team's tier 10s, so they are quite scary little things. The only issue is the ammo capacity. It goes through it so fast, because it fires so quickly, you just burn through your ammo, especially if you're trying to carry a whole team. In this case, there were 3 of us, so we could even it out a bit, but when it's one E25 and you've got a lot of targets, kiss that ammo goodbye in a hurry. I should have, I think, 1 or 2 more E25 videos coming up just after this one. Depends on when I get around to uploading all this stuff, probably several months from the date of recording. But I'll definitely have more videos of this in the future. I'll have to see if I can get some of the 12244 as well, because it's kind of like an interesting companion to this. Well, not companion, because it doesn't get pref, this does. But like a counterpart almost. They both have very high DPM, very mobile, and good camo, but this one's, you know, high rate of fire, low alpha DPM, and the 12244 is sort of middling rate of fire, high alpha DPM. 2 very interesting tanks that play more like turretless medium or light tanks than tank destroyers.